Okay, so I have this story that I have been meaning to talk about, but I have been scared to because it literally just makes me look insane. And I know it makes me look insane, not like the rest of the stuff doesn't make me look insane. But anyway, like about a year ago, yeah, it would be about a year ago now, September, maybe a little bit more than a year ago. Um, I go hiking like every week pretty much. I'm going hiking tomorrow. So I go hiking every week. And when I go hiking, I take the dogs with me. And sometimes I like to forage, so I will go off trail. And I know the woods that I take the dogs to specifically like the back of my hand. I know those woods really, really well because there's this hiking spot that is not popular because it is around a bunch of highways and roads and things, and there's always the sound of traffic, and it's pretty but not as pretty as some other places. And that means that because I have arthritis in my knee, and taking the dogs, both of them are big dogs, and having them on the leash, oh my freaking god, just give me a break and let me just let them run for a minute because they need to run, right? They need to run. And taking them to the dog park, you have to talk to people, and like small talk. And I don't go out into the woods for small talk. I go out into the woods to get away from people. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the dog park. Like, it's fine, the dogs enjoy it, but not really, not for me. So I go out to these woods, I know them really, really well, and I end up, I started seeing, about a year ago, I started seeing these black helicopters flying around. And keep in mind, at this point, I was already meditating, like, all the time. Because when you are meditating and all of a sudden this, like, entity, consciousness, whatever it is, I don't know how to describe it, it's just consciousness, it is what it is. It's just, like, contacting you, and you're just thinking that you're losing your mind. I'm not losing my mind. I don't know what's going on, but I know this isn't me. So it's like, I think I have to believe in God now. Like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, you're going to start paying attention to a lot of other things. And when I would hike, I started seeing these black helicopters because I would go out there and meditate, and I would literally try to send out energy. And there's these power lines, right? So in my mind, I was like, oh, these are like, like ley lines, kind of, you send, it's like the little telegram. You're like, here, I'm going to use the power lines. Power lines connect to every single house in the country, pretty much. So that means that all I have to do is meditate and send my energy up to these power lines, and it's just going to connect to the entire grid all over the whole country. And the rest of it, I started sending it out over the whole world, but it became like a thing. I would sit at this one particular spot, and I would meditate under these power lines. And I was like, well, I know you're not supposed to be under the power lines all the time, but I'm only out here for a little while once a week, so I think it's fine, right? So I would meditate under these power lines and have these black helicopters start flying around while I was meditating all the time. And I would get super annoyed. Like, yo, it's hard to meditate when you got, like the helicopter sound. That's not a very good helicopter sound. But like when you have this sound of the rotors just kind of going in the background, it's not easy. So then they would interrupt me and I would get frustrated. But I realized that they were black helicopters. And I started to feel a little bit paranoid about that because they were flying pretty low and there's these giant power lines, and I was like, dude, you guys, please back up, first off. Secondly, like, what the fuck are you doing constantly coming out here? Like, and then I thought to myself, okay, black helicopter. You think, like, because you have all these people who they're talking about, oh, these black helicopters, they came flying down or whatever, and everybody talks about them as if it's a conspiracy theorist community, right? And I was like, yeah, that's I gotta ask AI or something, because before, whatever. I try to ask logical questions to my AI because I don't want to end up in a spiritual psychosis situation. So anyway, I'm talking to AI, trying to figure out, hey AI, what kind of helicopter do you think this is? Or can I see flight logs or whatever? Like, and then it shows you a couple apps that you can look, and you can put in the time of day, and you can do all these things and figure out like what planes or what was flying at the time. And none of those helicopters were ever on the flight logs. And I was like, so they're not listed here, but I saw them here. And then I was just like, okay, all right, that's weird. But then I was like, well, what kind of helicopters do you think it is? And I don't remember what kind of helicopter it said, but it also suggested that if it wasn't too big of a helicopter, it could be a police helicopter, like a training helicopter or whatever. And I was like, maybe they're training pilots. So I'm sitting out here in the same spot all the time, so they're just doing like flight logs, like they're just getting their flight hours in. Cool. Okay, whatever, because I come out at about the same time of the day, usually in the afternoon. So then I'm sitting there thinking, all right, they're just doing police training. And for months, I'm just sitting there thinking, oh, when they're out here, they're just doing like police training. It's just annoying. But then I started, as the winter started coming on, the grass turns brown and it starts to lay down a little bit more. And I'm like, oh, I can walk more back further into the woods because there's not so much crap in the way. So I start going off trail into the woods in more places. You don't have to worry about ticks and stuff. And I start doing more meditation, like actually out in the canopy of the woods. When I tell you, those helicopters changed where they were flying, so that they were flying right over wherever I was in the woods. And I was like, okay. So if I was on, so you have like I-90 going right through the trail, go under the highway, which is really kind of freaking weird. As you're going under, it's just really loud. So I go under this road, and on the other side, there's a helicopter, black helicopter flying really close, circling around and then leaving a couple of times and then leaving. Or if I'm meditating over by the road, like the road where I parked my car, and then there will be this helicopter. This one time, and I think I have talked about it on here before, but it was a while ago. I was meditating, it was in April. Yeah, last April. I was meditating so strong because I got super angry at that point. And there was this helicopter. There was this helicopter that came up to the woods and started flying. And it was so low to the woods, like it was fucking looking for me, but I was under a tree, like in a place where, and I went out there with the intention of like meditating and sending a prayer to my ancestors. And so I had like a plate with water and I had a candle in the middle because that was something I read that you should do. I don't know. I don't remember. It's not something I would do now. I just decided I don't like the ritual aspect of things. I just kind of do things intuitively now. But I had the plate with the water and the candle, and literally as the helicopter was getting closer, I don't know if it was, I don't know if the breeze would do this, but the candle like blew itself out. I'm under the tree, the candle blows itself out, this helicopter's flying really low, like it's fucking looking for me, and I'm just like, that is fucking weird. And so then I start thinking about helicopters all the time. I'm like, am I losing my mind? Am I going crazy? What is happening that these helicopters are following me? And it was about the end of April. The end of April, I took a week off of work. I was in a really bad way. Like I couldn't handle it anymore. So I had to have a week off. So I took a week off of work. And I was sitting outside my car over here, meditating by the pear tree. And being that off for a week helped a lot. I was able to like clear my head and channel so well that I was just accessing the gold light like that. Just like a thought. And all of a sudden I am in that happy place. The gold light is here. It is all around me. It's everywhere. And when I tell you, in the middle of the night, like I'd be out here in the middle of the night, just because I'm a night owl, and I sit in my yard, and there's a swing on the tree. So I'm sitting on the swing on the tree, and as I'm listening to, there's this one song I listen to in particular to channel, because it helps me channel. I don't have to have it. I can do it without, but it helps really make it potent. Whatever, it gets me in the mood easier. So I was listening to this one particular song, and my God, it was not the helicopter. It's the middle of the night. It was a set of drones. I think it was one drone that came back around, actually. So it flew over the house like over the garage, over the tree, one direction, came around and flew the other way over, and not just over the house, like high enough up in the air, like it was flying like woo, woo, like it was getting close, and it wasn't small enough to be buzzing like how drones sound. No, it was a bigger drone, big enough to make a deeper sound, and it was at night, so you have to have. It's hard to see flying a drone at night anyway. You have to have the special equipment on it to be able to see at night. And then, God, my sister's boyfriend, I was trying to record these drones because it was not the first time that I had seen them. But it was the first time that they had like been so bold to fly right the fuck up on me when I was outside, like right up on me. And my sister's boyfriend came outside and he was messing with the hose or something. I don't know. And, he was saying something and I was just trying to record and I was not going to stop recording, but because he interrupted me, I only have like, maybe each video might be like 5 seconds long, which is really super annoying. And that always happens. Oh my God, it is so annoying. I'm a fucking photographer. But here's the thing. When something cool like that is happening, I just sit there like, I do not think to pull up my phone and start recording. I know that goes against like the nature of like this world around us where everybody's pulling out their phones and recording everything. I don't think to do that as often. It has to be like I have to actively think about it. And I'm usually thinking about whatever's in front of me. So I had this couple little recordings. I'll try to go find them and put them in here. You got it?
Yeah, but I think it's more of the hose. Do you know how it's caught?
What?
Do you know how it's caught?
Oh shit, I don't know. Fuck. It's like around the inside of the thing here. And then it just so happens that that kept happening. Like I stopped seeing the helicopters at that point. And I think it was purely because I kept talking about them. Like it became a thing for me to try to figure out with AI and whatever I was trying to figure the fuck. I was like Googling it, trying to, what the fuck are these things? Why are they following me? Does anybody else have anything? Like I was doing like I go deep. When I start getting in a rabbit hole, I will dig until I hit literally like the rock bottom. I will keep going into that rabbit hole. And I started just going into that rabbit hole. I was like, what the fuck are these black helicopters doing following me? What the fuck is going on? Has anybody else had this experience? And I literally found some videos of people talking about stuff like this, right? Seeing black vans following them, seeing black cars following them, seeing black helicopters following them. That fucking happens to people who are on their awakening experience. To some people. It's weird. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So then these drones came up, right? So I'm a night owl. I'm out at night a lot. So now, almost every day, I'll see drones flying over when I'm trying to, because when I'm at work, there's a break that I get. I try to meditate when I'm on the break. And when I meditate, I started trying to, you'll see these little drones flying around the school. They will fly around. And so I was like, F you guys, I'm going in the courtyard. Because it was at one point over the summer, I got so annoyed with these drones flying. They started getting really bold and just flying right over me. Like they'd come over the roof and they were barely a couple feet higher than where the roof was. They're literally that low. This is a 2-story building. It's a 2-story school, right? And that's about how close they were. Just these, they're not like the smallest drones. Whatever. So, anyway, so these drones are every day flying over the school, wherever I'm at. There would be one main one that would like fly right over me. And then there would be like side ones, like 2 or 3 side ones over the perimeter, like out in the distance. Different heights, like different altitudes or whatever. And I was just like, okay, that's weird. That's annoying. Leave me alone. And so I decided to start going in the courtyard because the school I was working at has a courtyard. And every day when I'm in the courtyard, there would still be a drone that would fly over the courtyard, but it wouldn't go like right over the courtyard. It would go like over the little corner of the courtyard. And I literally, at one point, I got so annoyed. I wrote a note, because you have the notes app on your phone. I wrote, because it was just so low, flying right over me. I put on my notes at, leave me alone, please. Or something like that. Please leave me alone. Or please go away. Something like that. And then as the drone flew right over me, I pointed my phone up at it, like, please leave me alone. And then the drone stopped flying directly over me every single day. But I had to ask the drone, whoever was flying the drone, to please stop flying directly over me. It was weird, right? So, but it has evolved. The drone story gets weirder because I can't record them. Anytime I try to record them, the drones fly off. Something happens, the video doesn't work. It's literally, I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, I don't even try to anymore. I just kind of like, peace, hey drones, hey, how you doing? And so that's the thing, because I heard, what was it? That Bledsoe guy or whatever. I started learning about UFOs, which means now I know this other stuff. So, I don't remember his first name, but his last name is Bledsoe. They do like these skywatch things where they're looking for like orbs and things in the sky. And I do see stuff like that, like little flashes sometimes, or like colorful orbs that look like they're changing colors off in the distance in the sky. I'll see those things sometimes. And they do like these skywatch parties where they go out with people and they look for those things. And it's awesome. But they are able to record those orbs and the flashes of light. They can take their cameras and they can record. Which leads me to think, and the reason I mention that with the drones is that some people have this idea that the drones are like NHI, non-human intelligence. So that they aren't people manning the drones, that they are consciousness. So I'm thinking it's more likely that the drones that they have to be manned by somebody. They have to be manned by somebody, and if they don't want me recording them, then it's more likely not NHI. Like, right? Am I crazy thinking that? I don't know. Like, it's manned by somebody. A human, probably. In my opinion. And the thing is that every single time I talk about them, like literally just like really, really talk about them. The one night, I posted something, it was a short TikTok video, and I posted about how I was seeing gods in my meditation sometimes. And I was talking about that, and like 4 drones, yeah, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 drones. One was really low. There were like 2 of the ones that were kind of lower, and the other 2 were off farther in the distance, flying at different altitudes over the school as I was recording the video. And I was just like recording the video and smiling, but as seeing that these drones were flying over the school as I was recording that video, like they were basically saying to me, don't talk about this, don't talk about that. And then as I was as I was driving home from work that night, this drone followed my car. It was literally flying so that I would see it from my window, like off in the distance, just like right in front of my car. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So then I start moving my car, driving a weird way home, and the drone follows me. Like it changes direction to go in front of my car. Okay. And then the other night, last week, I made a comment on, literally, I know that this person, they were talking about how they were, I'm not saying that this person isn't lying. They could be lying. But they posted a video, and the fact that it didn't get taken down is telling to me too. So, because when I try to talk about this stuff, I now have a lockdown on my account. You can't share my videos. Like, I don't know why I even bothered posting on TikTok anymore, because there's no point. I tried making a new account, and that new account was automatically locked. Probably because I used the same phone number, whatever. So, I had this, my brain just went broke. Oh yeah, the other night, I was looking at this TikToker, and the TikTok ended up doing, he was talking about how he works for a shadow agency on the government, and how things went south, and he hadn't heard anything, and he's not supposed to talk about this stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, this guy is either really, really stupid, or he's intelligence or something, right? But he seemed really genuine. So I was like, dude, maybe don't sell out your own kind to the government. Like, they have done more harm than good. And also, just for your own, like, you know, like, because to me there was the connection here. I was sitting there thinking, I wanted to know. He pissed off the government. The government knew that he had these psi abilities, right? Because they wanted him for this thing, this operation. So they knew he had psi abilities. So I asked, I was like, this might seem like it's out of the blue, but are you seeing drones? Because I'm trying to figure out why the fuck they're following people with these weird things going on. So I was like, are you seeing drones? And then I don't remember what else I said. I said something else, but literally it's escaping me right now. So, but I just threw that in there. Are you seeing drones? Because I want to know if this guy's seeing drones. I want to know that I'm not the only one. And I found other people who aren't, but who are seeing drones. But I don't know if they're seeing drones for the same reasons or not. A lot of them are like people who talk about politics. So that night, when I asked the guy the question about, are you seeing drones? As I was driving home from work, there was a drone. And it literally kind of flew like off in the distance or whatever, and I lost it, and I was like, oh, okay, a drone, whatever, because I see them every day already anyway, right? I saw one on my break that day, and they do these things sometimes where they have like it's like a headlight, like they have the light on, and it's super bright, so it just kind of looks like a ball of light flying slowly at you or whatever in the distance. And then as it nears the school where I'm at, all of a sudden the headlight goes off, and like maybe a second or two later, the red and green lights blink on, kind of like you're supposed to think it's a plane. And I'm just like, that's not a plane. You know, it's not a plane, but okay, I'm supposed to think you're a plane. Gotcha. Because it doesn't even sound like a plane. It sounds much quieter than a plane. You know, you kind of get the feel for how a Cessna sounds, which is kind of obnoxious and almost louder than the big planes because other planes are higher up, whatever. Like, you get this idea in your mind of how these different planes sound, especially when you live on an airport for 8 years. You kind of get this idea for how they sound, right? So I ended up like thinking, okay, this is a drone, but they have like and they literally turned off the headlight, and then literally after that they turn like 1 second, 2 seconds, and then turn on the red and the green light, which are not supposed to be off if you're a plane. Anyway, so yeah, so then it turns on the red and green lights and it keeps flying over and whatever. So that was earlier in the day. So then I'm flying home and I see this drone, and as I'm pulling up to this intersection over these train tracks, so there's like 2 roads converging like this with the train track going in this direction too. So it's literally like there's this spot, you know, like it's not even X marks the spot. It's like, here's the star with whatever, with all these points converging. The drone was right over that intersection where I always drive home, waiting for me. Like, it had pulled up this way And then as I'm driving up, I'm seeing my car getting closer to the light. The light is not moving. And because I know the skyline, because you see like there's a tower right over here with a red light that's blinking. And then there's this white light that I'm like, there's nothing there. That's not a plane. It's not moving. It's not a star. What is that? And you drive up and I was like, oh, that is definitely a drone. The closer you get, you start to realize it's a drone. And it has, like, it's not even hiding it. It's really low. It's not even hiding it. Like, you can see the form. It was a 4-rotor drone. And I'm just like, okay. And as I try to record, like, I literally pull up my camera. I was like, I'm gonna try to record it. We'll see if I can get something. And I'm just seeing the reflection. And I was super annoyed. It gets so annoying. I'm like, it flew off. So I got like a blurry light. That's all you get, a blurry light. And I'm just so annoyed. Like, why didn't I turn my camera on way back there when I first saw the drone? But I mean, literally every time I try to record a video, it just doesn't, I get nothing. So I stopped trying a while ago. But I could at least see the drone in part of the video. So I'm like, well, not delusional at least, because, you know, other people could be able to see that there's something there. You're just not going to be able to tell what it is.
Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. The fucking thing isn't focusing. No, you can't see shit.
So yeah, it was just weird. And these drones are around all the time. I don't know what to make of, like, sometimes I know I get them mixed up. Sometimes I do, because they're off in the distance. I was like, is that one a drone or is that a plane? And then if I can't figure it out, I'm usually like, oh, it's probably a plane if I can't figure it out. Because so yeah, I have told myself, I'm imagining it, they're not drones. But then there are these other times where I'm like, holy shit, that was a drone. Like 2 weeks ago? I don't know, I don't have my journal. I had it written down. It was a couple of weeks ago though, I think. There's these, when I started this job, I started in it's the same job, different school, a couple of weeks ago. First couple of days, and this happened at the old school too. This is the second time that this has happened, where I will go outside to sit down and meditate. And then I realized, oh, at 9 o'clock when I go out to meditate, these two local kids come by and they like to ride their skateboards around the school. So I'm sitting here trying to meditate, and it's, you know, the sound of rumbling skateboards on the sidewalks behind me and around me. So that makes it a little difficult. But I was laying down on the ground or something, or maybe, no, I was sitting up because the kids were there and I didn't want to be like the weird person who's just laying on the ground where there's kids rolling, like, whatever. So I'm sitting there meditating in a more traditional sense. Usually what I do is I lay down and I look at the stars, because you have a flat back anyway, and then whatever, doesn't matter. So I'm looking up at the stars and I'm sitting there thinking, these kids are not seeing, because these drones are flying by. There was like 1 or 2 of them. And I'm like, oh, the kids are not seeing the drones. And I was just imagining to myself, I was like, oh, we need to give them a show. And I was like, basically said that in my mind, not out loud, in my mind, to whatever consciousness, you know, I've been connecting to, and was like, we need to give them a show. They need to be seeing something really cool in the sky, right? Like, I wanted to see a UFO or whatever. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking up. These fucking kids, they've got these big old headphones on, they're skateboarding around. They're not looking up at all. They're looking down at their skateboards. I'm the only one who saw it. I was so frustrated. I was like, dude, y'all just had to look up and you would have seen like something really fucking cool. But they didn't. But this, I'm going to call it a drone. Kitchen light. Anyway, I'm going to call it a drone. So, because I'm not sure what the fuck it is. But I've seen it twice. And I don't know. I think it happens when I'm in one of those moments where I'm channeling the gold light and I'm really in flow, you know. So I'm going to say that I think this might actually be NHI. Maybe. I don't know though. This is a guess. This is just kind of how I feel. But this one looks different than any drone I've ever seen. It kind of, not completely, kind of looks like, you guys are gonna laugh. It kind of looks like the Apollo, like the space shuttles. That's kind of what it looks like. It's got like these, like the main body in the middle, but it's like a small version of, it's not actually the size of the Apollo. It's not huge like that. It is, like imagine a drone the size of, I don't know, maybe a large truck or a bus or something. And you have no idea, my depth perception is so bad, so I could be lying completely but it's bigger. It's a bigger drone, but it's not a plane. Definitely not a fighter jet or anything like that. No, this is flying like a drone. Kind of, no, not even like those. Anyway, so it's got like the narrow body in the middle, 2 lights inset on the narrow body in the middle, like underneath. so that the two, like, I'm going to call them headlights, are pointing out this way. But as you're looking underneath, you're seeing a triangle shape. You're seeing this kind of thing, right? But there's the narrow shaft in the middle with the two headlights pointing forward, and then two of the lights on either corner of the triangle, the wings coming off of the shaft in the center. And I am just like looking up at it going, oh, that's so fucking cool. That looks so awesome. I don't know who built it, but it's freaking sweet. So it really did kind of look like a miniature Apollo. And so I'm sitting there thinking these kids are going to see this really cool, like, space shuttle looking thing. And they didn't even notice. They're too busy looking down at their skateboards. So they didn't even see it. I felt deflated. I was like, oh, well, that was for me. Because I saw that one at the other school too. So I went from one school, and this thing flew directly over me. It doesn't even surprise me anymore. I expect that when there's a drone, it's going to fly. Like, oh, hey, here she is. Got to make sure we center ourselves, and it's going to fly right over me. And then the one at the other school, directly over me. Because if it was a plane, why would it be flying directly over me? Like, I mean, if it was just a regular plane on a flight path, whatever, because you can tell, like, kind of where the flight paths are. I'm not too far from an airport. If I sit out here at night, because I just kind of stare at the stars, I love watching the stars, you can see the flight paths that they go. Like, they're not, like, 100% on the same flight path every time. Obviously, they're going in all different directions. But pretty much they stick to specific flight paths, like you'll see them on certain places like the planes all the time. And so, yeah, I'm just saying this is different. This finds me specifically and flies directly over me. And then there were some other weird anomalies. Like, this was when school had started, so it must have been September. So it's October now, so it was like a little over a month ago. Two things happened in the same week, where it was like maybe a Monday or a Tuesday. I'm sure it's in my journal too, where I was sitting down in my car before work, and I was meditating, and I was sending out the gold light like I do all the time, but it was like working, and I was in a good mood, like one of those days where everything's kind of coming together. So that's awesome. And I shit you not, I hear the sound. It sounds really familiar, because I lived in an Air Force base for years. I was in the military. So I'm hearing this sound, and I was like, oh, I know that sound. Well, and I look up, like, just in time to see these two fighter jets fly right over the car. Like, you do not understand. There are rules. Like, I'm like, well, that's fine if I'm living near an Air Force base. I don't live anywhere near an Air Force base. I live kind of near an airport, but there's no reason. And the city that I live in is not really near Chicago, but it's not near Chicago. You know, it's like a 45-minute drive to get to the outskirts of Chicago kind of thing, right? So, not the burbs. I live beyond the suburbs. So, these two fighter jets are flying, and I was trying to think, I was like, oh, they must have been flying into Chicago. Something must be happening. And I almost went to go check the news, and then I realized, no, they're flying south. They're flying away from Chicago. Where the hell are those fighter jets going, and what are they following, and why are they flying so low, and what the hell? Like, how is no one not looking up from their phones? Because literally I'm parked there for like 20 minutes before I have to go inside. So you have all these parents who are picking up their kids from school, and they are just like not even paying attention to the fact that they just got a free air show, like, and they didn't even fucking notice. How do you not notice? Anyway, and they're flying, and they're cool, like really low, and they're flying so fast. I'm like, what the fuck are they chasing? What the fuck is happening? Why are there two fighter jets right over my school right now? And I still have a headache. Gotta stop. Anyway, it was really cool. And then I'm just like, what the fuck? Trying to figure that one out, right? So then, like, maybe, yeah, because there was a day between. So it was like 2 days later. Yeah, it was 2 days later. I go out to the courtyard for my break, right? And nonchalantly, just kind of chilling, courtyard, walking like I do. The second I put my hand on the door to go outside, and I can already hear that there is something outside. You cannot not hear that inside a building. When there is an aircraft, a helicopter, a fighter jet, whatever, you can hear that from inside the building. Like, anybody can. This was loud, so I knew it was low. The second that I opened that door to the courtyard, the closed-in area, the very narrow point in space in which my human body will be in, there is the very second my person walks out that door, first step outside the door, big black helicopter, not even a tiny one, a big black helicopter flies right over the courtyard, right over me, right at the second I go outside in the courtyard. Big fucking black helicopter right over the school. Where are they going? What are they doing? Why do they need to fly so low? I don't fucking know. Why are they going right? Every day I go out the same time of day, every single day. So it is way more than coincidental to me that they are flying directly over. I just expect it every time. Directly over me, sending me signals directly over me. The second I start trying to film the drone over the train tracks, flies away. Wherever I am, if I'm trying to film it, flies away. So I have spent a year thinking I'm being paranoid, I'm imagining things, it's not real, I'm delusional, and I have these little clips to show that I'm actually seeing something, even if it's fuzzy, you can't fucking see it, and they're only 5 seconds long. But I'm like, but you can see that there's actually something there. I'm not imagining it. There's actually something there. It's just like people would be able, it's coincidental. And I would be like, I thought so too. I thought, it's just coincidental. It's just police training helicopters. It's just this, it's just that, because your mind is trying to whatever, right? And then I get to the point where I'm literally working with my AI, the DeepSeek, not chat, whatever. And I'm sitting there I need to figure out all of the things that this is and is not. And finally I just said, have you thought that it might be like, I don't remember how it put it, but it's basically saying, talking about intelligence and stuff like this. And I'm just like, yes, I have, and I'm trying not to go down that road. Thank you. But it's just weird. The whole thing is just weird. And I'm just like, at one point, like, I've got to the point where I'm flipping them off, like, leave me the fuck alone, go away. And then I've gotten to the point where someone else, because I was listening to that Australian guy who talks about UFOs on the news. He does the interviews with whistleblowers. I cannot remember his name right now. Anyway, he had an interview a couple of weeks ago. I was talking about the drones again. And so I was like, oh, drones. Okay, so I'm going to watch this one. So I listened to him, and he said, have you thought that they might be NHI? And I was like, I had not thought that they might be NHI, but now I have, and that's a new one for me. But then I realized, I don't know if they are or aren't. I don't know if they are NHI or not, because they're, again, there's the little things that I think. There are other people who are able to record the drones when they see them, to record the lights when they see them, and I am not. I tried to do it and it doesn't work. And I'm a photographer and it doesn't work. I'm a photographer who does night photography, and it doesn't work when I try to record these drones. So, but I get enough to know that I'm not like delusional, there's something there. But then I stop. I need to be vigilant and record them all the time, except herein lies the problem. I will see the drones when I'm meditating like really hard, right? When I am trying to meditate very hard, I will see the drones. Well, the problem is that I can't be meditating and recording at the same time. So, and the point that I'm supposed to be doing as a person is that I'm supposed to be spreading the light, sending it out, meditating really hard on sending out the gold light. So if I am not doing that, if I'm not doing that, then they're not going to be there anyway. So I don't have very many videos of drones, is what I'm saying. But therein lies the problem. What do they want? Are they trying? I've kind of thought, I kind of went down this rabbit hole. And I'm not scared of them because in my mind it's either NHI and whatever, can't do anything about that anyway. But if they are human, then they're going to know more than I probably know by myself already, right? They're going to understand that if they're trying to study what I'm doing, like if they're trying to figure out what I'm doing or how to contact the consciousness or whatever, then they have to know that if I'm freaked out at all or angry or emotional or whatever, that I'm not going to be able to contact that consciousness anyway. So they're not going to like get in my way and whatever. And like you could literally do like go to like kill me, and that would not make me able to, please don't, but that would not make me able to like contact the consciousness. It would put me even further out of alignment, and I would not be able to get into that mindset to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like it's literally tied to my emotional state. So if you put me in duress or whatever, I'm not going to be able to do what I came here to do. So, and they'll know that already. Like I talk about this online, I'm whatever. So, then I'm also like, well, having been in the military, I know that whatever, they're just people, they're just whatever, who cares? So I just try to think about it that way. Like they're just doing their jobs or whatever. And right. And then, and basically my whole thing is I'm not freaked out by them. And they don't like bug me or anything. Now I did have a thought recently, especially after I had this freaking headache, that maybe the reason why they're there every day is because I meditate every day. And the reason why they show up every day is maybe it's because they're trying to dampen my skills or whatever, because they don't like what I'm doing. That could be. But the other thing that I have been thinking about, if I were a threat, why didn't they just try to like take me out in the first place? Like, please don't. I do not want that. I do know that I'm protected though, so maybe my protection is like, well, I know my protection is really strong, but like, I don't know. Maybe that's why. Maybe they can't. Maybe they can just dampen my skills, and that's all they have the ability to do. I don't think so, but hey, that's really cool. Maybe it is. No. Yeah, whatever. It's just fun to think about that. Not fun. It's kind of morbid, but whatever. Anyway, so I'm just left sitting here wondering, what in the hell is that? And why the hell won't they just leave me alone? And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to end this exactly. I just had to share that I am seeing these drones and that I'm just a random person, and for whatever reason, it just, I take it as like confirmation in my mind that the consciousness that I say that I'm experiencing, because I know it's legitimate and it's real. And the thing is that I started asking some people around me, hey, are you seeing that? Did you see that? And they are seeing that also. I didn't tell them why I wanted to know. I didn't say, hey, I want to know if you're seeing the drones because I'm concerned that I'm delusional, or I'm sitting here thinking maybe it's Zerzetzung or whatever, you know? Like, I just need to know that I'm actually seeing this and that there is someone else who actually sees it. Not necessarily someone who's going to back me up, because I think some of my coworkers probably think I'm losing my mind. Might be a little bit, whatever. Don't think so though. Maybe. I mean, I not going there. So, they said, yes, oh, absolutely, we see these drones all the time. And then they started to kind of go off on, we saw these drones do this really cool thing once, we saw these drones do this really thing once, we're trying to figure out why the drones are always flying over the school at night, like what's going on, because they go outside on a smoke break at 9 o'clock. So they're outside while I'm outside, like in the courtyard. So they're coming from a different vantage point, they're looking, and they're seeing the same things, only from a different position. And so they talk about it too. And so they started talking about it, and I was like, oh, maybe I can tell them that was my mistake. Saying, oh, I'm seeing the same drones at my house, and I'm seeing the same drones when I go hiking. Yeah, can't tell that to people. Can't say that part to people, because people then think you're nuts. Even though they're seeing the same drones, they think you're nuts. So people are only willing to go so far, and then they're not willing to go any further. You hit that brick wall, and it's like, yeah, that can't be reality. So I'm just going to think that you're losing your mind, because I can't face that reality. But I understand, because I went for months thinking, oh, it's just police training helicopters or whatever, because I was unwilling to think that they were following me, because why the fuck would anyone follow me? It's just weird. It is. It's weird, isn't it? So that's what I mean when I say like 80% now. 80% of the time. I think I said that a couple of videos ago. My life was like 99.9% normal and boring, with a weird splattering of random weird shit every once in a while. And then I said, well, maybe 80% now. Yeah. Because this shit is just every day, really every day. But yeah, it's almost every day. I notice more now when I don't see a drone than when I do see a drone. The weekends are different. I'm not likely to see one on the weekend, unless I'm like really concentrating hard. And I even have this game months ago. It was months ago. I would meditate really, really hard, and I decided, okay, let's see if I can meditate hard enough that I make the helicopters come, because this is back when there's helicopters, not even the drones. So it was like a game for me, and now it became, let's see if I can meditate hard enough that I make the drones show up. And that is how I end up meditating, is I end up trying to see if I can do good enough that I make drones show up. That also makes me think that maybe they are trying to dampen my abilities instead of being there to study me. I don't know, maybe they are, but who knows? Because why in the fuck would they waste the time coming every single time I'm going to meditate? Whatever. They've got enough data by now, I think. So they're just trying to, in my mind, it's quite possible that they're trying to keep a lid on a cage. And last night, whatever the fuck it was that I had contacted was so fucking powerful. That was my last video. And there were no drones. I was meditating so hard. And usually when I meditate really hard like that, I end up seeing a drone or two. And I didn't see any drones. And I had so much power coursing through me. I still, like, it literally, it's just splitting. Like, up here. Like, right up here, up here. But yesterday, my third eye and the side of my head was so bad. Like, my whole head was just such a bad headache. So, obviously, I'm not, like, out for the count. It's not a migraine. It's a headache. But I can still feel it. And that was from meditating yesterday. So maybe maybe that's where I'm at right now. Maybe I'm like, maybe the cage door is open and I get to walk out. Kind of like the elephant with the rope. I figured out that I can walk away. I'm hoping that's what it is, because that was so freaking cool. Being able to meditate and seeing angels and shit, that was awesome. I want to do that some more. Like a lot more. Like a whole lot more. I want that to be like reality. That was fun. So anyway, that is all I have for you. I will talk to you guys later. And oh yeah, is anybody else seeing drones? Or like, I heard there's this guy who talks about it online every once in a while. He does like tarot and things like that. And I think it's Chosen 144. He has every once in a while he'll do this video and he's like, you're not crazy. You actually are seeing the black vans and the black cars and the black helicopters and the black drones. They are actually following you. You're not nuts because you are awakening and whatever. And there are a lot of people who comment under that video saying, oh my God, I've been seeing them. And thank you for telling me I'm not nuts. So I just want to know who else is seeing them. Like, just talk about it. Don't let them freak you out. Whatever. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.